Hello, and welcome to the Beards and Bitcoins podcast. We're so glad that you decided to listen today, and we just want to say thank you. Make sure you guys don't forget to rate and review us on iTunes or whatever platform you are listening on. On today's show, we were supposed to have Hex founder Richard Hart on the show, but unfortunately, due to some circumstances you'll learn about in the podcast, we were not able to have him on today, but hopefully we will have him back on in the next week or two. Today, guys, we're going to be debuting a new segment you're definitely not going to want to miss. We're going to be talking about Ethereum during token time, and during news break, we're going to be talking about a Bitcoin story that is definitely a good one and you're not going to want to miss. Don't forget to follow the show on Twitter at Beards Bitcoins. We've got several polls we're going to be putting up this week you're definitely going to want to participate in. Without further ado, let's get into the episode.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Beards and Bitcoins. We're a crypto podcast for the man's man, and yes, the ladies that love him. Joined with me, I am JChains, but joined with me today, as always, is my man, my homie, in real life and on the interwebs, Ben Armstrong, or BitBoy.
BitBoy.
What's up, man?
Not much, man. I've had better days, honestly, than today. But things in general are going pretty well. So
Things in general are doing well, but we've got a little sad announcement for everybody. We had posted that the Richard Hart interview was going live on Thursday. This is
let me fall on the sword here. It was all my fault. All my fault, guys.
This is going to be a roast. Here we go.
Yeah. So roast me. You guys go ahead. Feel free to roast me. So the long and short of it is it did not get recorded. We did the longest interview we've ever done on the show, and I didn't record. So I've been following this kind of like news story from a few years ago. This girl's name was Elisa Lam. She went on this trip from Canada to Los Angeles, and the last footage they have of her is like she's in an elevator and she's acting really, really, really strange, like she's hiding from somebody. And then you see her walk out of the elevator, and then like 3 weeks later, they found her dead. You know, it was like that was the last footage that you ever saw of her. And that was kind of like that interview. The last footage I saw of our Richard Hart episode was me saying, "Hey, hold on, guys. Let me go ahead and start this recording over." And then the interview was never seen again.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah,
that is terrible, man. It's like a time I was in, I think I was in Belize doing a Canopy zipline tour, and I had bought this GoPro camera. I was so excited, and I thought I hit record, and I recorded about a second because the memory card needed to be updated before it started working, and I had no idea. So I literally missed my entire zipline.
Wow. Yeah, that's the way that it feels right now. So I sent Richard a message. We haven't heard back from him yet, but he hasn't actually looked at the message. I believe Richard will come back on the show. And so we want to talk about Hex. So we're not going to go into it today. So regardless, even if he doesn't come back on the show, we are going to talk Hex next week. I know we went into the interview, the unrecorded interview, very skeptical and asked a lot of tough questions. And, Richard is very good at answering questions. So
yes, he's a master debater.
Master debater. Unlike a great fisherman, which we know is called a master
troller.
No, baiter. They know how to bait a hook. What's wrong with you? I think I just baited it very well for you just now.
I didn't take the bait. Okay.
No, please do not take my bait. So, but I think he's going to come back on the show, and it'll be a different interview than the first one, just due to the fact that we have a little bit more knowledge coming into it. I think it's very interesting, and I've been talking with people in my Telegram group about it. Like I said, guys, we're not shilling anything. We're not putting links or anything like that. We're not trying to get referrals. We just trying to bring you guys information and things like that. But definitely had some questions brought up in my Telegram group that some people want some clarification on. So I do think at a second interview could actually be really good.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think, like you said, we went in. I definitely went in with some
You're ready to
pre.
fire.
Oof, man, I kept quiet for a while too. It took me a little bit towards the end until I kind of got a little more into it and whatever. But yeah, I definitely went in with my preconceived notions, and like you said, he's really good at getting you to change your mind.
Yeah, or at least look at it from a different perspective. I think
That's a
it's
better
the
way to
way that
put
he
it.
talks, like the way that he's so good at talking. Like he's better than me for sure. And I feel like I'm an expert talker. I've been since I was a child.
Yeah, you finally met your match.
Yeah, I way outmatched by him. But yeah, so it is definitely very interesting. We're very sorry. I actually we probably talked about this on the show before. I had Bitcoin Bella on my YouTube channel, and I did 2 full interviews with her, and neither one of them recorded. So it was humiliating. This is the first time, and gosh, that would have been almost 2 years ago now. Wow, almost 2 years ago that happened. So 2 years is the first time it's happened, and the first time on the podcast. So hopefully we'll get him back on and things like that. But so Justin, let's talk
Yes.
about our show sponsor for just a minute.
That's a good thing to do. We should be thanking the people that help bring this show to you. The team at Monarch is working hard to bring you the one app to access all the best crypto services from the palm of your hand.
That's right. You can buy, store, spend, earn, and swap Bitcoin and most ERC20s among a ton of other features.
Yeah, man, that's super cool. For more info, make sure you check out monarchwallet.com today.
That
Get
is
that
right.
info.
And we always appreciate Monarch Wallet and, everything they do.
Yeah, absolutely. We sure do appreciate those guys. And because they bring the podcast to you, they help us do that. So speaking of podcasts, I did hear that a popular podcast capitulated. What do you know about that?
Yeah, that is correct. So you guys know, we are trying to grow our podcast actively. Like, I don't think people understand how much work we put in to trying to get this podcast more popular. And so one thing we're always doing is we're always looking at like iTunes and seeing where we rank and seeing where other podcasts rank. And definitely one of the higher ranking crypto podcasts is the Crypto Street podcast, and that is hosted by Prince, Whale, and Dale. I never realized that right. Prince, Whale, and Dale. That's Crypto Dale, and I think it's Whale 12. I should probably know exactly what their usernames are. Let me see if I can find their usernames real quick.
But
Yeah, so
they're
the
out the
long and the
game,
short
though,
of it
huh?
is they announced on Twitter, and I'm gonna read the tweet for you guys here in just a second on them capitulating. So yeah, it doesn't actually say L Whale is one of the hosts, Crypto Dale, and then 13 Prince 31. Those are the 3 hosts.
Interesting.
Yeah, and they've pretty big Twitter following. They're really big during during the bull run. I think is when they really got started. But this is their announcement that they made, and this was made today or last night. Actually, it looks like last night. Seeing some tweets, wondering where we've been since the holidays, and I feel like you guys deserve an explanation. Not easy to write this, but life has gotten in the way for all of us in one form or another. And we have taken an indefinite break from doing the show. This wasn't an easy choice for any of us, but we think it's best for now. Everyone has been incredibly supportive over the years, and I think it's safe to say that's what we'll miss the most. Hopefully, it's not goodbye, just see you later.
Interesting. There's been a lot of capitulation in the space, man.
Yeah.
I mean, not only from podcasters, but from content creators,
Oh, absolutely.
the traders. I mean, people getting just absolutely wrecked and getting out of the space, and just normal people.
Yeah.
Just that regular nerd.
Regular nerds. Well, I would like to say about this podcast, I mean, I've met at least 2 out of those 3 guys in person. I can't remember if I met the third. At least 2 out of the 3 I met at Consensus. Whale is definitely like really cool. He loves sports a lot. He loves talk sports. I think Dale is a Kansas City Chiefs fan, so he's probably happy right now. But it's sad to see podcasts go. Now, this does not necessarily mean that they're, getting out of crypto. We don't really know what this means, that they say that they're, that life got in the way. So this is not like necessarily them capitulating, saying like they give up on crypto. And if crypto
Yeah.
comes back and gets real popular, then, they may be back. I would say probably will. But I mean, even the biggest podcasts out there, a lot of times, not just crypto, like they eventually stop. Podcasting isn't something that people do forever. We are,
Yeah.
you and me, but
Forever. I mean, this is a lifelong thing. I mean, we'll be 95 doing this thing, regardless of Bitcoin. We'll still be making up stuff if Bitcoin isn't around.
absolutely. Yeah, we definitely will do that. So we're going to miss them on behalf of the community. I mean, it's definitely sad to see podcasts, suspend, stop, whatever it may be. But I think one thing that goes into that decision is like, look, if Bitcoin were at all-time highs right now and people were just flooding into the space, I doubt that they would be leaving. I think what most people that do podcasts, they have in mind, like they would like to do podcasting as a profession. And I don't necessarily mean them. They may, I don't know. But when you're in an industry that's kind of dying and there's not as much attention and people aren't coming in left and right, and you can't focus on the podcast full time, then it's a natural decision to want to get out,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it does take a lot of work. It's not just, hey, I'm going to sit down at my computer one day and just start talking and record it and hopefully people like it. I mean, you got to put in some work. So it makes sense that if you got to start spending your time doing other things, it would take away from the time that it requires to do a podcast. I mean, I've got a regular job and, sometimes, we have these conversations where, it's like, hey man, let's do this tomorrow because I just got too much stuff going on today. So it makes sense that life gets in the way. And, we wish those guys the best. And when the next bull market comes, we hope to see them again.
Yeah, absolutely. And I will tell you guys, speaking of capitulating, that there are several large content creators that I know in this space. Large. And no, that is not a reference to their size. I don't know their size. But there are several content creators I know across Twitter, YouTube, all different platforms. And several of them have told me they're out of crypto this year. So, yeah. So I think that's definitely something you guys need to be ready for. I mean, this is not the end of the capitulation. Even people that have done well in the space, and despite the bear market that have done well, even that, like, people just get tired of the toxic community, the toxic side of this community, I think. So,
there's a lot of people calling for Bitcoin to go lower too. So with that being said, maybe people just don't want to deal with the negativity because they know. I mean, everybody knew how salty it got the last bear market.
Yeah.
So some people just don't want to deal with it again.
Funny thing is, I don't feel like the salt has really changed. But
that's true.
Yeah. Speaking of price action and development with Bitcoin, let's move on. News break. All right, guys, that's right. So for news break today, we're going to be talking about a very interesting story that it seems like people are, keep talking about, like Bitcoin's dying. People aren't as excited about it, but got a very interesting story for you guys today. You want to start it out, Jay?
Absolutely, yeah. So who's getting their addresses ready? Because obviously with the growth that we're seeing, the number of Bitcoin addresses that now have one or more Bitcoin in it have grown to 784,000, which is a 11% increase in the last 12 months.
Yeah, and that's the amount of addresses that hold one Bitcoin or more. Is that right?
That's what they say. Yeah. The sizable increase over the 707,000 addresses reported this time last year, which is also double what they had in 2015 around this time of year.
Wow, that is quite a large growth. That's what she said.
That's what she said.
I should have just let you say it. I didn't think you were into large growths. But yeah, so the amount of Bitcoin addresses is going up now. This is very interesting. I definitely want to get into what that means for the possible near future of the price of Bitcoin. Mm-hmm. But very interesting on the total number of wallets. What do you think the total number of Bitcoin wallets is?
Oh, I feel like we've talked about this before, and it's crazy.
Several episodes ago.
It's some crazy number. Is it in the millions?
Oh yeah.
It's like 2 million or something like that, right? 2.5 million or something like that.
Yeah, you're pretty close. You're only off by 39.5 million.
Oh shit.
Yeah, there are 42 million people with or wallet addresses out there for Bitcoin.
Now that doesn't take into consideration the amount of Bitcoin that's in there, right? So those could be like scammers that set them up for airdrops,
Right. Well, not necessarily
stuff like,
scammers. I mean, some are probably scammers, but
or
it's very,
bots or whatever.
yeah. Well, I mean, it could just be that you like got an account, like you opened a wallet somewhere and you never sent anything to it. Like you got your seed phrase, you have it all set up, but nothing ever got sent. There's never been a transaction. So,
Or back in the, back in the ICO day, you had to whitelist like 25 different email addresses so that you could get like larger pre-sales.
So yeah, but I think it's very interesting because to me, like the amount of wallets that are active that have one or more Bitcoin, to the amount that don't have any Bitcoin, or I mean, there's obviously a lot of wallets. I think I don't know. I want to say it's like 2 million that have some Bitcoin in it, something like that. Okay. But it's very similar to like the internet and the dark web and the deep web. You know, like with the internet, the part that you can see is only like 5%. And then the dark web is like 10%. And then the other 85% is like the deep web. It's just like random stuff that exists that I don't even know if it's websites. I don't even know what it's called. I guess it's just the space of the internet. So
how do you find how do you get to the deep web?
I don't think there's like anything technically on the deep web. It's something we'll have to do some research. That's a good question. I might make a video on that. That's like a good video idea. But what do you think this means for what do you think this means for the price of Bitcoin in the future? You think this is, bodes well for it? The fact that this number's gone up 11%.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think this is clear indication that you've got more people learning about it, or you've got more people being smarter about it and diversifying where they're holding their stuff. So yeah, I think we're hopefully getting smarter people in the space, more people in the space, and more services. Now that's also another thing, is that you've got maybe companies like, say, the one that I can think of is Ballet Wallet, because I saw, what Ken posted yesterday or whatever. These things all come loaded, with like addresses and stuff. Now, does that account for the address that, the number of addresses that we see?
Yeah, it has to, because it is an address. It's active. So yeah.
So as they create their product, they're the ones that are creating a certain amount of addresses.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I would say, yeah, that's got it. That sounds accurate, I would think. Because it's not an exchange. I mean, you do own that now. Somebody else also has access to your private keys. So Ken's been going ham on the Ballet Wallet. I actually, at first, we both talked about how we liked the idea. And then it came out, and I actually did a video with them on my channel in Las Vegas. Just caught a lot of flack. I mean, people do not like the idea of the Ballet Wallet really anymore. So it's pretty crazy. But yeah, but let's go ahead. Let's talk about a token.
Token time.
All right, guys. So for today, for token time, which is where we talk about altcoins, not where Justin smokes weed. Today, we're going to be talking about Ethereum. What do you know about it, Justin?
I know that the code is ETH.
The ticker. It's called the ticker.
The ticker. Thanks. Yeah, I know the ticker.
This is a crypto noob. He's one of these new crypto noobs with the wallet addresses.
Yeah. It's my first day in the space. I know that it is the queen. That Ethereum is the queen to the Bitcoin king. Ethereum has been number 2 for as long as I can remember. And so we'll see. I know that they've got a lot of things coming up. What is that? The Ethereum 2.0. That's coming to that's supposed to be released soon, isn't it?
No, not at all. I don't believe. Let me see. It says release. So Ethereum 2.0 is basically where they are going to increase the scalability of Ethereum by completely switching it over to proof of stake and adding up a bunch of other nerdy GitHub updates that you and I really have no idea what it is, and probably most of our listeners don't care about.
And they're trying to add that sharding stuff, right? Where it's like reduces the blockchain bloat.
Yeah, fixes the blockchain bloat. You've been watching Apollo videos, I think. They love talking about blockchain bloat.
No, sir.
Here is an article from Cointelegraph that says Ethereum 2.0 will come in 2020. according to Consensus co-founder. And I think that's Joseph. No, that's not Joseph Lubin. That is Andrew Keys. I don't even know who he is. But he says that he believes it will be done by 2020. But I've actually been reading other stuff that says that it's not going to be ready for years. Now, in 2018, we were talking about articles saying it wasn't going to be ready for years. Now we're 2 years later, or I mean, at least 2 calendar years later. And now they're talking about they don't even know if it'll be ready in the next couple of years. So,
wow.
Yeah. If there's a bull run, it's going to be very interesting to see if the the usage of Ethereum goes way up, what that's going to mean.
You think they'll be, or like the next crypto kitties?
Yeah, exactly. CryptoKitties is what crashed Ethereum,
Right.
pretty much. I mean,
Did you have a crypto kitty?
What do I look like, Jay? Do I look like the type of person that would own a crypto kitty?
No, you look like the type of person that would own several crypto kitties.
Oh, dude, what the dude, no way. Not a chance. Maybe if they had crypto chihuahuas, I might get into it. But, I will tell you that crypto kitties might be the only way that, some people in crypto would ever be able to touch a cat.
Nerd alert.
Nerd alert. Fresh. All right, I'm sorry, nerds. We talked about trying to stop making fun of y'all, but we just can't do it. I'm sorry. It's not who we are. Okay. But anyway, so back to token time here. One thing I found very interesting about Ethereum has been the sentiment. So even though it seems like it's really been pushed out, Ethereum 2.0 and things like that, the sentiment for Ethereum over the last 6 months has really, really changed, because in between about mid 2018 up to about 3/4 of the way through last year, maybe about halfway through last year, it seemed like everybody was talking about what's even the point of Ethereum. They were talking about it being for businesses, but for people using it and dApps, it just wasn't going to be the case. But now, we've seen the rise of this decentralized finance, and now everybody all of a sudden is really bullish on Ethereum again, because almost all the DeFi,
DeFi,
dApps are on Ethereum. So do you think that could be enough to, push Ethereum over the top?
I mean, you never really know. It's the buzzword, right? You go to conferences, you go to sessions and all that stuff, and DeFi. So that is the buzzword. That could be the saving grace for Ethereum. I'll make an omission right now. I don't own. I think I have like $5 on Ethereum, and it's so that I can, if I need it, to transfer ERC20s through my Ether wallet. I mean, I don't have any of it. I have never really been a huge Ether person. So I hope that, for Vitalik's sake, that this is their saving grace, but I wouldn't hold my breath.
So one thing we're going to do this week on our Twitter accounts, you guys make sure to follow us on Twitter at Beards Bitcoins. I doubt any of our listeners aren't already following us, but if you're not following us, go hit up the Beards and Bitcoins Twitter account at Beards Bitcoin. We're going to be putting a poll up this week. We want to know what you guys think, and we're going to give our opinions here. Justin, what do you think is more likely? Ethereum passing Bitcoin or XRP passing Ethereum permanently? Not just for a day or two.
Poker chip time.
That was not a poker chip. That was actually a gold Apollo coin, believe it or not. True fact. It really was. But what do you think?
That's not ironic. All right. I think so. When you say permanently, I mean, you think for more than a 30-day period?
Yeah, because we've seen XRP pass Ethereum a few times, but it's only been for a day or two. It's been very short.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe not for the rest of time, but for an extended period of time.
Yeah.
I think that XRP has a better chance of passing Ethereum.
Yeah. I mean, I would agree for sure.
Yeah. I think Ethereum will never take over Bitcoin ever.
Yeah, and we talked about it a lot on my channel. If you guys aren't subscribed to the BitBoy Crypto YouTube channel, make sure you do that. We're doing live streams there once every 2 weeks. So every other Tuesday, we're doing a live stream where we talk crypto. We actually talked about it a good bit last night about, Bitcoin and its place. And since it's more like gold than like currency, it's doubtful to me that any of these, other projects are going to be able to pass it, because a lot of the argument people use for Bitcoin getting passed is that other projects can do things better than Bitcoin. But like, think like, what spins better, gold or paper money? Obviously, paper money. Like, you don't see people going and trading gold bars or anything like that, or even gold coins, because it kind of just does its thing. Like, it's an asset and it just has value and it just sits around, and people use it to keep their portfolio hedged. And I think that's what we'll see with Bitcoin. So, but guys, we got an exciting announcement right now. Exciting announcement.
This is not even an announcement of an announcement. This is just a straight up announcement.
Straight up announcement. We got a new segment we're debuting on the show.
Boom, 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 boom,
Boom,
boom,
boom.
boom,
I love it.
Boom.
So here we go. Let's hit the sound effect. Manspreading. That is right. We are bringing to you manspreading.
Manspreading. That is amazing.
Oh, it's amazing. Because let me tell you why. If you don't know what manspreading is, it's when a guy sits either on like an airplane, a bench, a train seat, and he spreads out a little bit. He lets his boys hang there.
You open up your hips. Sometimes you just
open up your hips.
That's
and
what you
I
do.
didn't even know this was something that women hate until the last 6 months, right?
It makes sense, but I would have had no idea until I was told.
No, of course not. I'm going to take up whatever space I'm in. I'm like liquid. I'm just going to mold to whatever shape I'm in. I'm going to mold to it. So if I got some leg room, I'm going to take that leg room. I'm going to let them boys hang. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Why not? Because you can. Because you're a man and you're going to spread. You're going to man spread.
Dang right. I'm going to spread all day, air day. Okay. And so our new segment, Manspreading, is going to be about us talking about man things. We are taking the negative connotation of manspreading and we're flipping it positive. And this is where we spread out and we just get to be dudes.
And we're going to spread the word.
Spread it. So this is the part of the show where we're done talking crypto and we're going to talk man stuff. Today we are talking steaks.
Sizzle on the grill, baby.
And I got a confession for you. I came up with this idea for this segment and for this, what we're talking about today. Guess what I was doing while I came up with it?
Were you eating a steak?
I was eating a dang steak.
That's
Top
right.
sirloin.
There we go.
Oh, it was big too. This is a $15 steak from Publix.
There you go. Did you grill it?
Did not grill it. It's freezing here. So
okay.
The wife cooked it. I'll be honest with you. Okay, guys. Now, when I do the grilling, but when it's wintertime, it's too cold out. We're just going to throw that thing on the stove. My wife can make a mean stove steak.
There you go. Yeah, pan fried. There we go. Yeah. I'm into it. So, All right. So for manspreading, today's first time, the segment, we are going to talk about the favorite cut of steak, right?
Yeah, that's definitely what we want to talk about. We want to talk about what is your favorite cut of steak. And one thing that's going to be cool that we're going to be doing with this is that we are going to be talking, or we're going to be putting a poll up on the Twitter page, once again, at Beards Bitcoin. And we're going to be putting this poll up, and I'm going to have a pick of steak, and Justin's going to have a pick. And you guys got to tell us who is right and who is wrong. There's
Battle
none of this
Royale.
There's none of this click to see results. It's either you pick my cut or you pick his cut.
Much like there's two choices, there's two genders. You can either be a man or not a man. That's it.
That's right. And guess what, guys? We're freaking men, and we're going to live this life. That's what I'm talking about. And I'm proud of it. I'm proud to be a man. I'll be honest with you. So let's get into it. Justin, what if you had to pick one kind of steak, what are you taking?
Oof. There are so many good cuts. I think that if I'm going to have to pick one of them, I'm going with a tomahawk.
No, I'm from Brave Country over here, okay? We tomahawk chop.
You tomahawk chop. Oh, have you been to a steakhouse that serves tomahawks yet?
I don't think I have. I think I've had one before somewhere, but I haven't been to one recently. Didn't we have one in?
Yes. Yes, we did.
Right.
When we went to the Brazilian steakhouse, we got a tomahawk there.
Yeah, I think it was called like Casa de Texas or something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Something like that. Oh man, that was good.
Oh, dude, I love
Just
it.
keep that coin on green.
That's right. That's right. You keep it on the green and they keep bringing it. And some people might think these guys like to get on here and talk about like they're real dudes, but we know they're like actually going to, they're having like foo-foo drinks at Chili's or, they're going to freaking Doc Green's salad place. No. When Jay and I go out, we go to the Brazilian steakhouse. Okay.
Or we go to barbecue.
Or barbecue. Absolutely. And one thing I know about Jay is he loves a good tomahawk steak, but that man loves to pound meat.
Stop it.
He pounds meat all day. Loves to pound meat. I saw that man keep it on green all day, every day. I mean,
it was the pork chops, the briskets, the fillets, the roasts, everything, man. Everything.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we were eating it all. Plus, they got the bacon there. You can just get. So my favorite cut of steak, I'm going with the filet. I love a filet mignon.
With or without bacon?
Always prefer bacon. I always prefer bacon with a blue cheese crumbles on the top.
Oh, now you're speaking to me with maybe a caramelized onion.
No caramelized onion. That's disgusting.
Oh, that's right. You don't do onions.
No, I don't do onions. But I will throw a lobster tail on the side.
Ooh, a little surf and turf. What about a little like pan reduction sauce, a little pan glaze?
Yeah, it's okay. I'm not huge on glazes, but for my money, I'm going with the blue cheese crumble, the bacon wrap, and the filet. It's juicy. I've tried other steaks. I mean, like Outback or whatever. I've tried everything they have there. Prime rib is okay. I think prime rib is probably the most overrated kind of meat. It's good. Don't get me wrong. I'll eat it. I'll love it. But, I mean, to me, nothing beats a filet.
Yeah, to me, prime rib's too fatty. I'm not a big fan of that. Yeah. Have you ever been to a Roots Chris Steakhouse?
I have a couple times.
Ooh, dude, that's one of my favorite places. They have this sweet potato side dish that should be served as a dessert. Holy moly, is it good?
So, sweet potato souffle is like my Thanksgiving go-to. I love that.
Ooh, yep.
Got marshmallows on the top. I'm going to give you guys.
I don't like marshmallows, so I don't do the marshmallow part. I'll scrape that off.
I want to give our listeners. I have a marshmallow recipe that is incredible. It is the best and I know what you're thinking. What's a marshmallow recipe? Well, just listen. This is how I make marshmallows. Okay, I go to the store. I buy a small or a regular size bag of miniature marshmallows. I go home. I cut the top of the bag off. I take all the marshmallows and I put them into a Tupperware container. And then I do not put the lid on and I leave them on top of my refrigerator for 2 weeks, maybe 2 days. You really just need one full night. And then you get the crunchy marshmallows. Okay. They taste just like cereal marshmallows.
Like Lucky Charms marshmallows?
That's what they taste like. When you allow marshmallows to go stale, they're crunchy. Like not crunch. I mean, it's still soft, but it's got that hard texture on the outside, and it's so good. I actually have some cooking on top of my refrigerator right now. Now I am on no carbs. I'm on no carbs, but I have been eating like 2 or 3 miniature marshmallows a day. I mean, it's
just a little something to satisfy the craving, so that you don't go overboard.
Gotta have it. So that's how you guys cook miniature marshmallows.
Huh? Good for you, man.
How about that? Well, guys, that's it. We've debuted some new stuff. We did not have a Richard Hart episode or interview. Hopefully, we'll have him back on for next week.
Yeah, we're going to try for that.
I know what you're thinking. Justin's thinking, my favorite cut of meat is roast because they need to roast you for fouling this up. And I know I deserve all the criticism. I'm sorry. Hopefully next week we will have it straightened out. That has not happened in the 75 episode run of Beards and Bitcoins.
It was a good run, man. It was a good run.
Yeah, okay.
It's like I gotta feel like I'm at one of those workplaces where it's 1,000 days. We hadn't had any workplace accidents. Now we gotta wipe that clean.
We gotta move it. And it's all my fault. Every time everybody comes into work, they're just gonna stare at me like, that's the guy. That's the guy that did it. But we will have. If we don't have Richard Hart re-record with us, I'll be shocked because he loves to talk hex and he loves to talk about it. So hopefully we will get him on either next week or the week after. Probably next week, and you guys listen out for that. So that is all we got for today's show. That's it. We'll see you guys later.
Adios.